Marudio ni mama ya elimu. Repetition is the mother of knowledge. He said, if you want to get knowledge, learn to repeat. Learn again and again and again and again. And I know one of the problems in today's church is that people want to hear a new thing every day. Let me tell you something. It is good to hear a new thing, but I think it is important to hear an old thing until it becomes part of your life. And today, I want us to talk about church membership. Church membership. And I'm not talking about necessarily becoming a member of GCC. I'm talking about becoming a member of a church. And why is it necessary to become a member of a church? And there are several things that are necessary, basically 3 that are key why people should belong to a church. Number 1, there is going to have a sense of belonging. You will have a home, a place you belong. That is called home. It's going to give you an identity. You are not just throwing you have an identity. Wewe ni wawapi, wewe ni mwapi. And it is going to give you the third thing, that is responsibility. When those 3 things are necessary in a local church, if you do not have a place you belong, if you don't have a home, something is wrong. If you do not have an identity, you cannot say, sisi ni wale. It's a big problem. And also, if you don't have responsibility, that's really a problem. You are not responsible for anything, and nobody is responsible for you. That is one of our problems. Now, a church without meaningful membership becomes a crowd. Naona wanasiasa wakija Githurai pale kwa soko, na tunashindaka hapa na soko imejaa. Sema mkutano ulikuwa umeshona, na soko inakuwa imeshona, hata sasa hakuna. Sio? And then akiondoka aseme mimi nina washirika wengi Githurai. Kesho yake mwingine abitie hapo. Naye, is it that person's group, or is this a crowd? There's a big difference between a crowd and membership. Many years ago, one of our ministers had a very big crusades all over the country, and he decided he needs to become president. Hey, there's a difference between a crowd and votes. It's a big difference. The same thing you can do a crusade. So sometimes I did crusades and I joined crusades every week, and they were good. Wait until I started the church. The crusades were big. The church had a few people. Why? There's a difference between a crowd and where there's membership. Now, with healthy membership, it has the opportunity to become, when there is healthy membership, the church has the opportunity to become 3 very important things. Number 1, a family. Number 2, a body. And number 3, an army. Those 3 are not possible until there is membership, credible, understandable membership. You know, I have a family. If you came to my house in the evening today, you will find food. If you are just one, you can always eat when we are eating, because we cook and we have at least an extra 1 or 2 plates. But if you showed up with your whole family, and we did not know you are coming, now you put us in trouble, isn't it? If you came and you wanted to sleep there, that is now even, you know why? That is our family we are talking about, not a visiting. Ama? Mkisema mnatembea hata kanisa yote tunaweza omba viti tuweke hapo mtembee, lakini tukimaliza tafadhali mwende nyumbani. Amana mnagani? Felicitas. Tukitembea tukatarie hapo sasa kuna haribika. Kwa sababu there's a difference. You are visiting, but this is a family. And there are certain things as family you don't do when you are visitors, isn't it? When you are family, you don't care how you look like. See, hata bila kusafisha meno unaweza shinda siku yote. Sini nyumbani. But when there are people you watch. What I'm trying to say is a church without membership is not a family, it's a crowd. And it is not a body. The Bible describes the church as the body of Christ. Now, if you don't belong to a body, you're in trouble. And if the church doesn't have membership, then you cannot have a body also. You have a crowd. You can't say mukono hii ni ya mwili hii, na hii ni ya mwili hii, na macho hii ni ya mwili hii. Utakuta kinjicho hii ni ya uko, kinjicho ile ingine ni ya. That's why membership is very, very important, and it's something that we must always value. But we have a problem in the modern church. Church ya siku hizi, we have a very strong problem. We have two extremes when we think about church membership. Very different from the Bible. Extreme number one is where membership is reduced to putting our name in a register. In other words, just take a form, register yourself, you have a name in the register, so you are a member. That is a poor and a bad way because it is purely administrative. It has no life, it has no depth. That is also a dangerous thing and a wrong thing to have. The other thing is, the other extreme is where membership is treated as unnecessary. And there are churches that treat membership as unnecessary. Haitanjiki, haina hanja. As long as one loves Jesus, that is enough. You know, there are people who are like that. As long as you love Jesus, that's enough. The problem of that attitude is, you love Jesus, yes, but is that what the Bible says? Those two extremes are dangerous and wrong. You can go to a crusade, you can join a group of people and not be a member. But that doesn't make you a committed person. You have no responsibility. You show up when you feel like, you don't show up when you don't feel like. Nobody can plan with you in mind. Can you imagine, Mrs. Mweti, in your family, that Mo shows up when he feels like, and she also shows up when she feels like, and when she wants to go somewhere else, anaweza kuja kwangu alale. Kwani kuna nini? Si ni kitanda tu. Siku hiyo ingine aende kwa Monica. Si ni ndanda. How will you cook for that person? How will you protect that person? How will you plan for that person? Slowly, that person becomes a vagabond. And you can't do anything significant with that person. And that's the problem of the church when churches go that way. Now, the New Testament church, the church in the book of Acts and the rest of the epistles, was not like that. The church in the Bible is a people who are called out, a people who are gathered. They gathered 120 in the upper room the first day, 120. They were even counted. They gathered they baptized 3,000. And they were being added daily, those who are being saved, right? Those fellows had something you can tell is a church that is not only called, it is also gathered. That church was a people who are taught, a people who had shepherds, who are shepherding them. It was a people who are corrected when they are wrong, and they are mobilized to do things when they are needed. That's the church we find in the Bible, not a crowd. But membership answers a very important question. Two things, actually. Who belongs to this local church? Who belongs? Who belongs? And what does that belonging mean? That's what membership means. Who belongs here? And what does that belonging mean? I preached in very many churches. Last Saturday we were ordaining a Bishop Lukenya in his church. This week I've gone for 3 days of meetings in Apostle Bugwa's church. I am not a member. I was attending. I was helping ordain a bishop. I am not a member. I go to churches in the US and preach in probably 20 or so churches. I have no membership. Nakuwa mugeni. Wakijenga siyusiki. Ama? Yeah. And how they pay their bills, I'm not involved. I am just a visitor, and I enjoy preaching to them, but I know I am ministering to them as a guest. Kuna tofauti ya mugeni na mwenyeji. Ama? And membership ndio hiyo tunaita wenyeji. Owning, becoming part of. Now, let me give you the foundation, the Bible foundations for membership. The book of Acts chapter 2, verses 41 and 42 is a very foundational scripture on that. Very, very foundational. Now, it is those who received Peter's word were baptized, and about 3,000 were added. And they continued in apostles' doctrine, fellowship, breaking of bread, and prayers. What are we talking about? For God not for God. Dan Dave. Took our Acts chapter 2, verses 42. 41, verses 41. You remember that famous sermon that was given by Peter on the day of Pentecost. And then people gossip. Those who believed what Peter said were baptized and added to the church about 3,000 in all. Now, the believers were added. And verses 42, these believers are now added. Verses 42, that those they joined, come on, let's read it together. They joined with the other believers and devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship and sharing in the Lord's Supper and in prayer. You can see several things in that group. Now, number one, they have been added to the 120. Okay? After that, they were devoted to several things. The teachings of the apostles. In other words, we're talking about they are now committed themselves to following the preaching, the teachings, the educating by the apostles. That's Bible teaching, Bible training. And then it goes added to fellowship. That word fellowship is a very big word. Fellowship is more than what we normally call it. Many times when we say fellowship, what are we meaning? Tunamaanisha, tunasema tunaenda ushirika, sio? But fellowship is a bigger word. It's what they call koinonia. And koinonia is a very big word. It means sharing together. It means participating together. It means having things in common. It means partnership in purpose. It means communion in life. Those are very many things. So when they joined together in fellowship, and when we say in fellowship, we are saying they joined together in sharing together. They joined together in participating together. In other words, what they are doing, they are coming together. That's what is fellowship. It is having things in common. It means partnership. We have this purpose and we are partnering in it. That's what they are in. It talks about communion in life. It's a very blown word. One of the days I would like to preach about koinonia. It's a very big word in the Bible. It's all over the New Testament. You will find, for example, in Acts, that particular part, it is used, koinonia is used, which is called fellowship. But in 1 John 1:3, it is used again. As he says, it talks about fellowship with the Father and the Son. Fellowship with the Father and the Son. So it's not just meeting. It's fellowship with the Father and the Son. And it's a big word. We are talking about having an horizontal relationship and a vertical one too. These are very important things. But also in 1 John 1:7, in 1 John 1:7, it talks about fellowship in the light. It says, but if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we shall have fellowship with one another. So fellowshipping in the light. We find that word again in 1 Corinthians 10 verses 16. The word fellowship comes again. When it comes to fellowship, it says, the cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The communion of the blood of Jesus. And it is the same word translated communion is koinonia. That's why it's a big word, more than fellowship. In Philippians 1:15, we have the apostle, Paul says, for you are fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. That church of Philippi was having fellowshipping with him. And if you look at the way he was fellowshipping, is what they were supporters of the ministry. The gospel was going on. From the beginning, they were participating. They were partnering. So it's a big one. There is even a fellowship in the suffering of Christ. In other words, participating and being involved. And, even in giving. There's a fellowship of giving, You go like in 2 Corinthians 8 verses 4. It talks about, refers to the fellowship of ministering to the saints. The fellowship of ministering to the saints. In other words, we are participating, we are partnering in giving so that the saints are taken care of. These are the different shades of the word. But anyway, today I'm not talking about that particular word, koinonia, which we probably will need to deal with at a different time. But I'm showing the things that they were involved in. The things they were involved in this early church. They were in blend, fellowship, and in prayer. So, what we are talking about membership in this church is belonging. But that belonging had content. That belonging had continuity. That belonging had responsibility. That's what they belong. They were handed to this church. Yes, but that being handed, what are they there for? They had some content. It's not just showing up as a crowd. They are here as people who are receiving teaching, as people who are together participating, having certain things in common, breaking bread together, praying together. In other words, it's a neat thing. In Acts chapter 2 verses 47, if you move just a few verses, you will find that the Lord added to their number daily those who are being saved. Now that's important. And the thing that you find in this church is salvation is the visible expression or step number one of becoming a member of a church. If you're not born again and you're a member of a church, what kind of a church are you in? Perhaps a club. a society. But a church is a coming together of the people who have been born again, who have received Jesus as their Savior. That's the first qualification that brings them together. Real assemblies with real leaders, real problems, and real disciples. That's what you are being added to. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, almost the whole of it talks about the church as a body. You read the whole chapter, you find the church is presented as a body. This body, he says, can the eye say, because I'm an eye, I'm not a part of the body? Can the leg say, because I am a hand, I'm so important, I'm not a part of the rest? No. Every part, even the parts you don't see, are important. And in the family, we don't care who has money and who has no money. We don't care who is educated, who is not educated. We don't care who brings what and who does not bring what. Kama wewe umezaliwa kwetu ni wetu. You know, this time when we were burying my mother, I noted a very interesting thing. We are 8 siblings, and when we came to decide how to deal with our budget, we found that it is not possible for us to really raise the money we needed by saying everybody do it, because it is not practical. So what we did, we just took the 5 of us, we divided the whole budget, 5 of us. And we said, Githurai, you bring 167,000, you bring 167,000. So we were given 167,000, 5 of us. And the remaining 3 were allowed to bring what they can afford. Okay? We know each other, we are family. And they are important. Nobody is weak. And we found 2 needed even transport to come to the wedding. So we sent them money to travel. You know, the fact that they do not have the money to bring in this side does not make them less brothers or sisters. All right? And when we finally came together, we did say, wewe ndio ulitoa nyingi, wewe ndio ulitoa kidogo. It is not about who can give more or less. This is family responsibility. Now, did they do more? Yeah, actually, amazingly, one who we expected to do, we didn't give him anything, he ended up mobilizing about 30,000. You know, so what I'm trying to say, in family, it's not a competition. Jicho ione ni sawa, miguu itembee ni sawa, lakini mguu ukikutana na kimguu kwa njia peke yake, ai, pengine utasema ni ushawi ama ni mapepo. The body, every part is important, even the part that you don't see. Do you know? Do you know you have a pancreas? Uko na hakika wewe iko na lungs? Are you sure? Ushaiona? Uko na hakika uko na figo? Ushaiona? Let me tell you something. Even the parts of our bodies that we don't see, they are very important. We esteem them. We care for them. Amen. Unaona hiyo kakidole yako kadogo, kamugu, hata kamugu, kakiguswa na kamusumari, I am telling you, kichwa itauma. Na ni kidole. That part is important. Hata kucha ni ya maana. Usingoe, aliyeiweka hapo. Siku moja gari yangu ilichomeka, ilichika moto. Nilikuwa natoka kupeleka mtoto hospitali, shule mahali huko. Sasa ninarudi. Hapa hakukuwa na mijengo. That's I think that was 90. Hiyo gari yangu ilichomeka mwaka gani Rose? 93. That was 93. Sasa huku hakukuwa na majengo, ilikuwa buga tu. So nilipitia hapo. Kufika hapa mbele tu, kagari nikaona kanaanza kufura bonnet. Kumbe moto iko. Nilipoifunga, kufunja ndio nifungue. Sikujua moto imejaa hapo. Kufungulia hivyo moto iliruka. Ikafia kanywele yangu. Na mimi nakwambia unanyolewa na moto si dakika mingi. Kwa kimoto hivi. Nywele ikaenda. Sasa kile kiliharibu ni nywele hata hizi kuchomwa hizi. Na hizi. The next several days I had a very big problem. Vumbi ikitokea inaingia kwa macho express. Ndio niligundua ukishomeka hii nywele hizi utakuwa na shida mingi sana. Iko na kasi. Nothing is not important. I waited for my hair to grow here. Alafu sura ilikaa mbaya, maana sasa sitaweka penzo kama wadanda. Hiyo ingine unaweza nyoa yote ndio ikue pole pole, lakini sasa what I'm trying to say, the body, everything and everyone matter, and it's important. Now, so the body is one and as many members. As if he hand is still a hand in identity, but cannot function apart from the body. And spiritual life is nourished in connection, not detached independence. You cannot get nourished in the body unless you are together, you are part of the rest. That's why people who do not understand membership struggle. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 17. And even in Matthew chapter 18, will tell us that the people who are leaders are overseers of the souls. Overseers of souls. They watch over souls. They don't just watch. And that gives ministry a very heavy responsibility. It talks about obeying your leaders. It says, obey your spiritual leaders. Please, let's read that together. Obey your spiritual leaders. Come on, let's read together. Obey your spiritual leaders and do what they say. Their work is to watch over your souls, and they know they are accountable to God. Give them reason to do his joyfully and not with his sorrow. That would certainly not be for your benefit. It's talking about what you do to your pastors and to your other leaders. What are they watching over? They are overseeing your souls. But as they are watching over your souls, they are going to be accountable to God. That's why I feel sorry for people who just want to be pastors. Kwa sababu kuna siku yao ya kutoa hesabu. I feel sorry for that, Pastor Mwihoko. I feel sorry for people who just want to be. I want to be a pastor, I want to be a bishop, I want to be an elder. Listen, that work is very sacred. Ni kazi ya kuchunga mioyo ya watu. And what you do with them, you will give an account before God. Maana watu wale wako kanisani si mali yako, ni mali ya Mungu. Maana hakuna mhubiri anaokoa mtu. Mungu ndiye amewaokoa. So there is a very high level of responsibility. I have had people come to me and say, Bishop, nimesikia Mungu akiniita nikuje tufanye kazi na wewe. Kazi gani? Mimi ni mchungaji. That first makes me have a problem. Mungu amekuambia uje ufanye kazi na mimi, kazi ya uchungaji. It is possible that is true. Okay? It is possible that is true. But it is also possible ni mtu anatafuta kazi. Na kuna tofauti ya kuitwa na Mungu kufanya kazi ya Mungu na kutafuta kazi mahali ungefanya kazi. It's a big difference. And this is my position. We have afadhali ufanya kazi ya kuchoma mahindi. Sababu mahindi ikichomeka, hakuna Mungu atakujibu. Hiyo ni mahindi tu imechomeka. But if you burn the hearts of God's people, the responsibility before God is very, very high. This becomes hard for me sometimes. One time, I was hurt by my church leaders. And I was doing well. My church had grown to about 1,000 people, and I was feeling good and comfortable. I mean, what would you think? I have 1,000 people. I have a Bible school. I have my small car and a van, and we have properties, and several workers, and I mean, this was a good thing, and I was comfortable, and we were doing ministry across the country. I had a reputation, and that moved from Peketoni, Mombasa, and that's why I think I met you in those days also in Mombasa. Those days. I mean, I was comfortable. I ministered everywhere in the country, Kisumu, where, and those days I was used to very large meetings. Remember those crusades, conferences? And that's how my first time to speak in a congregation of 30,000 was, and I was a young fellow. I was not that old. And then one day, I am told to pack and leave. I said, what did I do? And some of the explanations were stupid, crazy. Some said you are too educated for us. Some said we can't afford you. Never mind, I didn't ask for any amount. Some said very strange things. And I sat down and I concluded, if I opened another church across the road, out of 1,000, I would be assured to have at least 800 follow. If I went to the places I had planted, the churches, I had planted another one, just a sprinter one, I would be sure to get them join me. I see that happen all the time with the people. But I ask myself, whose people are these? Whose people are these? Are these denominations people, or are these God's people? If you mess them, you will one day stand before God. I feel very sorry for people who spread churches. Because what are you doing? Whose church are you messing with? So some of my members came and said, Bishop, Pastor, wherever you go, we will go. Tuko tayari kukutafutia mjengo hapa. We just move. These guys are wicked. And I said, you know what? Nobody goes. And I refused to go. I stayed for another 6 months so that the dust settles and people get used. And then I went far away to start another church. I didn't want to break it. There's a reason why my reasoning goes like this. You are overseeing the souls of men. Na utasimama mbele ya Mungu bila shaka utoe hesabu. Now, the reason I'm saying these things is to say you can only give an account if there is a commitment of people who understand their boundaries. By the way, you cannot discipline every person. You can only discipline people who are to you, located to you, isn't it? So these are very important things when it comes to church membership. Those who have come when we have started, we are talking about it's important to be a member of a church. And I said it is a place of belonging. It gives you identity. It gives you responsibility in a local church. Those are important. And a church without meaningful membership is just a crowd, not a family, not an army, and not a body. We have also said that there are two problems in modern times where one extreme, and it's evil, is where membership has been reduced to just signing a document and having your name in a register. It becomes administration. There's no life, there's no depth, and that's not a good one. The other extreme is where membership is treated as unnecessary. Mimi ni ushirika na hitaji tu. And the people who are careless relocating like that. They say, as long as someone loves Jesus, that is enough. It isn't enough. It's not biblical. But the New Testament is showing a different thing. It shows that people are called and people are gathered. People are taught and people are shepherded. People are corrected and people are mobilized. That's the kind of church Jesus is building. And when we talk of membership, we are saying, who belongs to this local church? And we are saying, what does that belonging mean? These are the things that we come up with, we are concerned about. And we have now been talking about the biblical foundations of membership. The early church was having a people who are saved, gathered, and they gathered for apostle doctrine, that is for the word, for fellowship, for breaking bread, for prayer. That is very important. In other words, it is a gathering together or belonging together that has content, that has continuity, and that has responsibilities. And we have said God is handing to the church those who are being born again. It's not everybody who can be a member of a church. Now, everybody can be in a church, but membership is an extra step. And then we say also the church is a body, and you cannot be a body that has no commitment. And then we have said there is going to be leadership who are overseers of souls, and that cannot happen without a church membership. Now, church membership versus church attendance, those are two different things. Okay? Church membership is more than attendance. Na kuna watu wazuri sana wa kuattend, which is good. Attendance is your presence in meetings that matter. But membership is a kind of a covenantal identification with a local body. You have a covenant, you have an agreement of staying together. Secondly, attendance is consumer-oriented. No, consumer-oriented. Our world is very, 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 very consumer-oriented these days. In other words, you are there to receive. You are there to evaluate. You are there to compare. And if your comparison does not give you the value you're looking, you go. That's consumer. Ni kama kuingia Carrefour, kama upate kitu Carrefour unaenda gani nyingine? Kutoka Carrefour unaenda? Come on, kwa nini mnanunuaga wapi? Kuna Carrefour, kuna Naivas, kuna Quick Mart, na kuna Nova, na kuna see there are many. Ukikata hiyo yote uende kwa Ferista yako inaitwa City Hope. Sasa because we buy things everywhere, we have made the church the same. Unakuja unanusa, unasikia hiyo inaingia unaenda ile nyingine unanusa inaingia. That's attendance. It is consumerism. It's consumerism. And there's a big problem in a city. Now, but membership is not consumer-oriented. It is participatory. There's a difference. Membership is participatory. In other words, you belong, you grow, you contribute, and you take responsibility. That's different. This other one, unapokea, unafanyiwa. Kama ufanyiwi na kama upokei, unatafuta bali nyingine ya kufanya nini? Ya kupokea. Wewe ni swala. Leo unakula hapa, kingine unakula hapo, kingine unakula hapo. It's dangerous. But church membership is participatory. You belong, you grow, you contribute, you take responsibility. Also, attendance is built around the crowds. The more people you have, the better. That's crowds. That's not membership again. That's a problem. But membership is built around disciples. Disciples. People who are committed to learn and grow from a particular pot. Disciples. Attendance is moved by convenience, personality, and atmosphere. Convenience, personality, and atmosphere. In other words, you can attend the nearest place, and that's okay. It's one way people go to church. You can attend because it is not raining. Kukinyesha, you don't attend. You will attend when you feel like. If you don't feel like it, we're talking of convenience. But membership is different from moved by convenience, personality, or atmosphere. Membership is decision made. In other words, a decision is made. This is my spiritual home. This is my pastor. These are my leaders. This is our home. This is where I eat from. This is my home. It doesn't matter what brought you, but now when you choose to be a member, these are the things you are saying. Attendance, people who attend ask this question: what can I get here? What can I get here? But membership, one asks, how can I grow? How can I serve? And how can I help here? Sasa, hiyo maneno yote nimeyasema hili tuelewe what is membership and why membership. You know? The goal of membership is not salvation by membership. In other words, you don't make people members. You don't get saved to become a member. No. Is disciples through meaningful connection. It's not salvation by membership. It's discipleship through meaningful connection. You know, I've enjoyed watching people like Carrier since Carrier came. And Carrier is one of the people we did inconvenience, but he still comes, and he comes before you. And sometimes he anakuja one day earlier. I like that. I've been watching Monica. And Monica lived one time in Ngong, and she would leave Ngong and come to church. Then she moved to Kikuyu, and she will be here before you from Kikuyu. Sijui sasa Monica siku hizi umehamia wapi, lakini nimegundua hata ukienda Mombasa utakuja tu. Because it's different. It's not. And it's good for you to know, although Monica into worship, we don't pay her. She is serving. You know? And I know, I value people who have commitment to what they are doing. I see people like Wanje. He lived here, very near. But even when he went far away to Kikuyu, he still comes. That person is not looking for the convenience, because kuna makanisa mingi sana hapo katikati. You know? And it's cheap to go near. What I'm talking about is, it's not salvation by membership. It is discipleship through meaningful connection. In other words, here the point is to help people move from being a visitor to an attendee who attends regularly, to a member, that's a committed person, to a servant or one who is serving there, and from there probably to even a leader. It's a process. Now there are people who want to jump from mgeni kiongozi. It doesn't work that way. No. You will have a mess. Huyu mgeni ametoka PCA, huyo mgeni ametoka Anglican, huyo mgeni ametoka Catholic, huyo mgeni ametoka Pentecostal, huyo mwingine ametoka Charismatic. Call them leaders, put them together, make them leaders. Utakuwa na kitu ina sura mbaya sana. Utakuwa na mnyama ya sura mbaya. Ama kama ni mjengo ovyo. Okay? There must be a process. There must be something else. Now, what is the purpose and what's the meaning of membership? 4 things. The process, the purpose, and the meaning of membership. 4 things. The first one, membership is identity. It's identity. Dave, if you give us Psalms 92 verses 13. I hope you are learning. I hope you are getting something. Najua mimi ni mwalimu na ninataka kujua watu wanakamata. And sasa si saa ya kuhubiri ni ya kufundisha. So I want us to get into your hand and to your soul, into everything in you. For they are transplanted into the Lord's own house. They flourish in the courts of our God. I want you to notice those words. They are transplanted into the Lord's own house. Therefore, they flourish in the courts of our God. You know? In other words, church membership is where the believer can say, this is the house where I am planted. Nimepandwa hapo. And those planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish. Watapanuka. Flourishing is connected to planting. But spiritual shallowness often follows constant moving and drifting. If you are constantly moving, kama hii muti, usuri hii muti ni mzuri. Lakini kama ukipanda kamuti kama hapa. Leo, wikio ingine ungoe upande hapo. Wikio ingine ungoe upande kule. Hiyo ingine ungoe upande huko kwingine. Katazaa mwaka gani? Unaonaje? Katazaa ama katakufa? Semeni tu katakufa ama katazaa. Kakikosa kukufa katakonda, sio? That's why it's important that you get planted. And then you flourish as a result of the planting. When you are connected, that gives you a place for growing. When you are disconnected, then you have shallowness. And that happens when you keep drifting and drifting. It doesn't work good. The second thing we have is accountability. Hii ni maneno makubwa tu. Accountability. You know, there are people who believe, because like our church is a grace church. We are a grace church. Then people think grace is being careless. We are saved by grace. We are maintained by grace. We are sustained by grace. That does not mean we do nothing. That does not mean we cannot be accountable. We cannot be called to account. No. Grace does not eliminate accountability. It makes accountability redemptive rather than condemning. In other words, membership creates a framework for follow-up. When I say accountability, we're talking about follow-up. We are talking about teaching. We are talking about counseling. We are talking about restoration. We are talking about even discipline when necessary. If you go wrong, we can correct you. That's accountable. We can call you to order. In the world we are living in today, especially in Kenya, we are in a big mess. We have given value to gossip, slander, and marriage. Those two ones are three ones are bad, but they have become, that's the language our politicians eat. Gossip, slander, marriage. Na Wakristo wameingia ndani. You know what is gossip? Gossip is telling someone else about someone who is not part of the problem or part of the solution. Ni kukutana na Dave, unamweleza habari yake aliye, na mambo yale unamweleza haimuhusu na hana njia ya kuishuruhisha. Hiyo ni gossip. Ni mushene. Sirio? Mnakutana na Mweti, unamweleza habari ya Monica, na mambo yale unamweleza haimuhusu na hana njia ya kuisaidia, kuishuruhisha. Hiyo ni mushene. Lakini kuna pande nyingine, umesema hata inaweza kuwa vile unasema ni ukweli. It is possible that what you are saying is true. However, is another one which is malice. Malice, no, slander. Slander is when you tell the truth about a person to somebody else with the purpose of hurting the one you are talking about. Okay? Na hiyo inakuwa sana. Nataka uende usikilize wanasiasa mara ile wanasema habari ya Kasongo. Uulize kama hiyo wanasema ya Kasongo ni ukweli ama ni mushene ama ni slander. Au usikilize hawa wengine na wao watu tamu wakiongea habari ya Gachagua. Asi Gachagua tukashane na Gachagua. Wewe wa Munyoro. Naye useme ni mushene ama ni slander. Hiyo vitu kama inasemwa ili indunishe mtu ama idhuru mtu, hiyo ni slander. Na ni mbaya, and is evil and is wicked. Lakini tumekubali siasa mtu anaweza ndanganya. Tumekubali siasa mtu anaweza kutukanana. Tumekubali siasa. No, it is not if you are Christian. If you are Christian, behave kama Mkristo, hata kama hujapiga kura ama kama utapiga. Sio? By the way, ni vizuri niwaambie leo, kwa sababu nimeulizwa mimi na kuwaga pande gani. I made up my mind long ago to never be on the side of government or the side of opposition, na kuwaga hapo katikati. Kwa hivyo ninakuweza kuwa na washirika wa opposition na washirika wa serikali. I don't belong to. Na kwa hivyo ninaweza rekebisha opposition, naweza rekebisha hiyo ingine. Na naweza kupongeza hii ama nipongeze hiyo ingine. But this is democracy and I am a preacher, so I don't want to be that. Nimesema hivyo ndio siku nyingine usinitafutage sana, na ukisikia siku nyingine nimesifu Ruto usifikiri mimi ni baada yake. Siku nyingine nitamgonga akienda kando. So because I am a preacher, I want to say what God is saying, not what is politically good. So I've said number 1 is identity. Number 3 is fellowship, koinonia. We already said a lot of things about that. Now, believers are called into shared life. Praying, supporting, mourning, rejoicing together. Sidio, mtu akifiwa tunalia pamoja. Mtu akiwa na shida tunakuwa pamoja. Mtu akibarikiwa tunasherehekea pamoja. That's koinonia. Partnership, working together, rejoicing together. In other words, meaningful membership means that members do not vanish anonymously in seasons of crisis. It means if you are in crisis, haupotei tu. Wewe ni mmoja wa family. Bwana asifiwe. So that's why fellowship is bigger, is deeper than just a meeting, kukunywa chai. It is a participation, is being part of, is being involved. And I want a church where people are involved in each other's life. You are not at the church at your own risk. It's important to be known and known well. And to be known what you do and why you do it. And when you go through tough times, don't hide. Usitokee tu tuambie, hey, kilikuwa kimeumana sana. Saa hiyo kimeumana, ongea, piga nduru. Ama? Yeah. Ndio nilipiga wakati mama yangu aliingia kona ngumu, nisaidiwe. Na nimesaidiwa, asanteni sana. Wengine wameniombea, wengine wamenipatia kaneno. Na wengine walikuja mazishi. Oh, that's part of familyness. But we can do better than that. I am looking forward to when in 2026 in GCC we will not just be doing small things, but we will be much more participatory in the lives that we do. And we are we are more organized so that we don't just kitu ikitokea ni crisis, ile ingine ikitokea ni crisis. We need to become more responsible people. By the way, tuongeeni ukweli. Sindio? Tuongeeni ukweli. Ukipata pesa usikurage yote, wekaga ya another rainy day. Okay? Na wekage hata mbegu ya kupanda siku ingine. Don't. It's good, it's proper and important for someone to anticipate kitu itatokea. Mimi ninaona kama umezaa watoto na una tutoto, utakuwa mtu mjinga kukosa kufikiri katoto katapata viva siku ingine. Ama? Kuna siku katamuka kana joto mingi. Na mbele ya uite bishop ujue utafanya nini. Na mbele upeleke hospitali ujue unafanya nini. Sindio? Tukiwa sisi na watoto wandogo tulikuwa tundawa tulitaka watu kapo. Sijui kama ziko huko siku hizi. Tu vitu ambayo tunatumika kwa wakati wa dharura. You prepare. Nafikiri mzazi wa katoto kandogo na daktari sio tofauti sana. Nilionanga kakifungana macho, mapua, kanashindwa kupumua na mdomo, kanashindwa kupumua na mapua. Natengeneza kachumvi, naweka kwa cotton, naweka pua, kanenda chia, inafunguka. Juzi mama alikuwa na homa, nikamwambia sasa mama, maana nilionanga tukiwekea mtoto kachumvi kwa pua ikifungana, si mimi nitengeneza, kanambia usidhubutu. But anyway, I'm saying it is responsible people who oh my goodness. Wait. Wana kupiga kengele? Let me say this. We have fellowship in times of crisis. And finally, the last one is mission. A church cannot effectively mobilize people for ministry if it does not know who is committed, who is available, who is trained, and who is accountable. Mission. For us to do our mission, and effectively, we must be able to know who is committed, who is available, who is trained, who is accountable. You can't do mission another way. Mission becomes stronger when belonging is clearer. If we know who belongs, then we can do mission. If you don't know who belongs, you don't know where to go and where not to go. Maana huyo mtu ungeenda kwake, leo alienda Kisumu, hiyo ingine alienda Mombasa, hiyo ingine alienda kwingine, na ujui akienda na ujui akirundi. Nimesema the meaning and the purpose of membership, we have said it is identity, it is accountability, it means fellowship, it means mission. Mambo haya maine. Very important. And well, I think because you are not going anywhere, when we come next week, I'll begin from there and I'll show you the requirements and the pathways of membership, and I'll show you the responsibilities of church members. We can do that next week. We'll deal with the privileges of church membership, and we will also talk about church membership, how church membership transforms a local church, and then we will say what next. So I think that we can stop there for now. May the Lord help you to process this and find where to belong and how to belong, and the reason why you need to, even though it is a slow process, it is very necessary to form that. God bless you.